Hey, Devon Brown here, world's #1 event MC, and in this video, I'm going to share with you 8 tips for collaborating with your MC effectively. So, as you know, your MC is a critical part of your event, right? They're the person who the audience sees the most. They're basically your audience's best friend for the entirety of your event. And so, the question today is, how do you effectively collaborate with your MC to maximize audience engagement, to maximize the role they play, and to make sure that your event is as successful as it can be? There are 8 ways to do that. There are probably more than 8 ways to do that. But in this video, I'm gonna give you 8 ways to do that. Let's jump into it. Okay, way number 1 that you'll want to do effective collaboration with your MC is to have an event planning session with your MC before the event. Now, it's important that your MC understands the overall goals of your event. It's important that your MC understands the flow of your event. It's important that your MC understands the run of show for your event. And so, well before the event, when you and your team are in the planning stages, you'll want to make sure to at least once include your MC in the planning, because a elite level MC will often have feedback for you and help you set things up in a way that's going to maximize efficiency and maximize efficacy with regard to your event. So way number 1 is make sure that you have an event planning session with your MC beforehand. All right. Tip number 2 for effective collaboration with your MC is to have the MC give input on scheduling when and where appropriate. And here's what I mean by that. As somebody who has MC'd, I don't even know how many events, I've learned little tips and tricks, and this is true for hopefully most professional MCs. I'm not talking about, by the way, I'm not talking about like people who juggle or do magic and kind of MC on the side. I'm talking about people who actually study the art of hosting events, like real professional MCs, not ones you normally, just kind of find in the newspaper when nobody uses newspapers anymore, but you get what I mean. What you'll want to do is have the MC give you input on your schedule where appropriate. And so one of the things I'll notice, for example, when I am consulting with events, is that they'll show me their schedule, they'll show me their run of show, and the way they'll have it is they'll say, 9 to 10 is speaker 1, and 10 to 11 is speaker 2, and 11 to 12 is speaker 3. Now, a good MC will look at that and say, hey, that's not right. Instead, what they'll say is, hey, the MC has to go on first, and they have to set the tone for the day and for the event. So from 9 to 9:15 should be the MC, if that makes sense. And then from 9:15 to 10:15, if you're giving a speaker an hour, is the first speaker of the event. Then you need to have 3 to 5 minutes of transition time, right? So that the MC can talk about the awesomeness for the first speaker and then properly set up the next speaker. And so little things like that in the schedule end up being critical, and the right MC can help walk you through that stuff. And I hope that makes sense. All right, tip number 3 for effective collaboration with your MC is to make sure your MC knows any event insider or event culture secrets. Let me give you an example of this. I was hosting an event several years ago in the women's fitness space, and the event was called Lady Boss Live, and it was this women's fitness event. And one of the event insider or the event culture or the community culture secrets was that these women all refer to themselves as lady bosses. Now, it's important that your MC understand things like that, because a good MC can then take that and embed themselves in the community and talk about the community. So now when I go on stage, what I don't say is, hey ladies, welcome to the event. Instead, what I say is, where my lady bosses at? Here's what it's like to be on stage in front of hundreds of the most focused, confident, no excuses, self-loving women in the entire world. Lady bosses, say what's up. That's what it's like. That is what it's like to be in front of hundreds of amazing women. Lady boss. when I say where my lady boss is at, they recognize, oh, he's talking to us. That's an insider. He knows what we secretly call ourselves. Yes, that's awesome. And so when you share those kind of insider secrets or those culture secrets with your MC is able to, if they're a good MC, if they're an elite MC, they're able to seamlessly weave that stuff in to their hosting. And so make sure you share any culture or insider secrets with your event or with your MC, that would be helpful. All right, tip number 4 for effective collaboration with your MC is plan on having your MC arrive the day before your event starts, not the day of. Now, this is important because when your MC gets on site, you'll want to make sure that they get a chance to talk to the AV team. Do you have any run-throughs that you need to go through with them? Things of that nature. Give your MC and whoever the key people are associated with your event, all of you need a chance to meet and connect before the actual audience gets anywhere close to the room. So if you want to be effective collaborating with your MC, make sure your MC, let's say you're doing like a 2 or 3 day event, right? And your event's on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm making this up. Make sure your MC arrives on Wednesday, and then that way they can connect with you, get on site, see the stage, and all that other good stuff, all right? So just make sure that they're arriving early and not the day of. That is, don't do that, all right? All right. Tip number 5 for effective collaboration with your MC is give your MC at least 10 to 15 minutes to open your event. Now, this is one of the biggest things I'll tell you if you're bringing in an MC, is that the first time your MC goes on stage is the most important time. Like when I MC events, now I only MC events for like my private clients now, and they've booked me like a year out. But whenever I'm emceeing an event, the very first thing I'll do is when I'm going over, it's like, guys, I need enough time to properly set up the event and properly set up the day. Because what I don't do is I don't just go on stage and say, hey everybody, welcome to the event. Our first speaker is Mary, welcome Mary. That's not what we want to do. What your MC needs time to do, and again, a good MC will know how to do this. What your MC needs time to do is to go and welcome the crowd and warm them up and make them feel good and get them to identify and get them excited and tell them what's going on and to set some anticipation. Things of that nature. Think of it like this. When you go into the gym, you don't just immediately go throw a bunch of weight on the racks and just start pumping it out. Instead, what do? You gotta warm up first. You gotta stretch. Let your MC warm up your event in that first 10 to 15 minutes on stage. Give them plenty of time to do that, and that'll set you up for success for the rest of your event. So that is tip number 5. Give your MC at least 10 to 15 minutes to open up your event. Tip number 6 for effective collaboration with your MC is to make sure your MC has access to the speakers before they go on stage. Now, stop what you're doing and listen to me for a second, because 90% of the industry gets this wrong. Normally what happens is you hire an MC and then you give the MC bios that the speakers have provided you. And what I'm telling you is that is the craptastic way to do it. That is a horrible way to do it. If you're doing that, stop. Don't ever do that again. That's a no. And if you have an MC that doesn't know that just reading speaker bios is a dumb idea, then I'm telling you, you've got the wrong MC. Instead, what you want to do is this. And by the way, quick side note, this is going to be a little bit more difficult for like ultra celebrity speakers. If you don't want anybody talking to your ultra celebrity speaker, like there's some events that I do where it's some ultra celebrity speaker and I don't get a chance to connect with them beforehand, and that's fine. That's not a big deal. But for the majority of your speakers, what you want is you want your MC connecting with your speaker before the speaker goes on stage. And the reason you want that is because your MC should be crafting a custom introduction for each speaker, which is, by the way, it's easier than it sounds. I'm not gonna get into it in this video, but your MC should be crafting a custom introduction for each speaker that is audience focused. Most speaker bios are like, Bob Smith went to Harvard. Bob Smith has this accomplishment, and he has that accomplishment, and he has this other accomplishment, and yada, yada, yada. Welcome to the stage, Bob Smith. That is a normal bio, and that sucks. Instead, what you want is an MC who's gonna find out from Bob, hey Bob, what are you gonna share with the audience? Why does the audience care? So then the MC can come out to the audience and say, hey, how many of you guys have been struggling with such and such? What if I told you you could fix it in as little as 30 minutes? Well, that's what our next speaker is an expert at. And his name is Bob, and he does yada, yada, yada. Welcome to the stage, Bob. And that kind of introduction talks about what's in it for the audience. And that's the kind of introduction that your MC should be doing for each speaker. And so in order for them to do that, while everybody is on site, you need to make sure that your MC has access to speakers when and where appropriate. One of the things that most of the events who hire me do is they'll say, when I introduce speaker number 1 on the stage and I head backstage, speaker number 2, they've got that speaker ready for me so I can talk to her, get her information, and craft a custom introduction for her on the fly. That's what a really good MC will do. So I hope that makes sense. That was tip number 6. Make sure your MC has access to the speakers before they go on stage so that they're not just reading cue cards. All right, tip number 7 for effective collaboration with your MC is to build in time for energy management. Now, the challenge is that most MCs are drastically underutilized. And what I mean by build in time for energy management is this. There are certain times throughout the days of your event where energy will naturally peak and energy will naturally fall off. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that if it's a time where energy naturally falls off, you want to build in time for the MC to do energy management and lift the energy in the room back up. Now, the best and the easiest example of this is lunch, right? People go to lunch, they eat, the food settles in their stomach, and now they're kind of lethargic. And so what you want to do, and this is one of the tips that I'll give to events all the time, is I'll say, hey, instead of, come back at lunch at 1 o'clock and then we'll just start the next speaker at 1 o'clock. Instead, what we do is, hey, we'll tell everybody to be back from lunch at 1, but we won't schedule, and we'll be like, shh, we won't actually tell the audience this. We'll tell the audience to be back at 1, and then we'll build in 10 minutes of energy management. And what I'll do when I'm on stage is I'll take that 10 minutes after lunch, is I'll get them up, I'll get them moving, I'll get them dancing, I'll get them having fun, I'll get the energy back in the room. So when that post-lunch speaker comes on, they're excited just like they were in the morning. So one of the things that's smart, like the multi-million-dollar events that I host, one of the smart things they do is that we build in time for energy management because we understand how important it is to keep the energy up throughout the entire event. All right? So final tip number 8 for effective collaboration with your MC is to make sure your MC knows what the primary goal is for your event. Now, do you know what the primary goal is for your event? Like, what is it? Is it an enrollment? Maybe you're doing an event and the goal is to sell your coaching program. Maybe you're doing an event and it's like a customer appreciation thing or an award thing. Or maybe one of the main things you're selling for this event is next year's event. And the goal for this event is to have at least 30% or 40% of the room buy tickets for next year's event. Whatever the primary goal is for your event, especially the primary monetary goal for your event, make sure your MC knows that, because your MC is on stage so much that they have the ability to casually drop in and remind the audience to do that primary goal. So if one of your primary goals for the event is to increase social media following, it's your MC who's going to say, hey everybody, before we get started and before I bring out the next speaker, pull out your phone right now, follow xyz.com, and I'm gonna pick a prize on the other side if you post something amazing, right? So that kind of stuff, whatever the primary goals are for your event, make sure your MC knows them, and that way your MC can weave all of that stuff in throughout the day or days of your event. So with that, I hope that was helpful. Those are 8 tips for effective collaboration with your MC. And if you've got an event coming up and you're looking for a world-class elite level MC to help turn your event from great to amazing, check out EliteMCs.com. I will put a link below. Thanks for your time. I hope this was helpful. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, Devon here. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and connect with me on social media. And if you enjoyed this content, be sure to share it with your friends.